Okay guys, so we're just gonna go over how to do a blood draw out of a PICC line tonight. So the very first thing that I like to do is I like to line up everything that I'm going to use in the order that I'm going to use it, so that it's not, you know, confusing in any way. So this is a saline flush, sterile saline flush. Okay, so this will be first. This is the needle holder, also called vacutainer. The tube to hold the blood, 2 sterile saline flushes, heparin, the biohazard bag to hold the sample, and not shown yet is that I'm going to use a ton of alcohol swabs as well. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do in order to draw blood out is we are going to draw blood out and throw away 5 mLs of blood. Okay, this is called wasting. So the reason for this is because, you know, we keep saline or heparin in the line. So if you're drawing blood, say you're supposed to draw 3 mLs of blood, the first couple of mLs that you're going to get are probably going to be mostly saline or heparin. So the actual blood that you're going to get out, the sample would be significantly diluted if you're using it for testing or whatever. So what they do is they tell you to waste 5 mLs of blood. Okay, now, unlike with flushing, where you basically can't push hard enough for it to be a problem, you can draw back hard enough for it to be a problem. So do it slowly, okay? So I'm gonna keep the line out so that you can see when the blood comes in. Okay, this is also what you're gonna do when you check for blood return, except you are not gonna collect the blood in the syringe, okay? So I just use the same syringe. All right, sorry about that, had some technical difficulties. So just using the same syringe, I'm just gonna pull back, okay? And you can just see the blood just came in. Okay, so when you're checking for blood return, you do this the same way, except you're going to just not collect it into the syringe, all right? So slowly, I'm going to draw back 5 ml of fluid into the syringe. So the reason that you don't want to pull too hard is because if you create a vacuum, you pull hard enough, it can create a vacuum and it can cause the PICC line to sort of collapse on itself. Like, it can be reversible, but you know, very occasionally it can damage the line, and also it tends to scare the bejesus out of people. So so just do it slowly. Okay. All right, so I've got 5 ml. All right, so I'm going to keep that attached, okay? I'm not going to clamp the line. You can if you want to. So sort of like a personal preference thing. Yeah, I mean, you certainly don't have to. You definitely don't have to while you have something attached to the end of the line. It's not going to affect its ability to stay sterile at all, but some people like to clamp. I don't, whatever. So in any case, I'm literally just going to set the syringe down, okay? Okay. Now, I am not going to use an alcohol swab between these steps. That's very important, okay? The reason for this is because I'm about to connect the needle holder, which is obviously going to hold the needle, and the, is obviously going to hold the tube, and the tube, the preservative that's inside the tube is actually affected by alcohol, okay? So we don't want to do that because that will affect the validity of the test, okay? So I'm going to take this off. All right, so there's a little bit of blood on the end of the clave. This is the vacutainer, okay? Again, it luer locks. I'm just gonna screw it in, okay? And this is the tube. And I'm just gonna push it in to this needle, and you wanna make sure you hold the end, okay? That's important because it will, if it does it with enough force, it will want to come off, all right? And so the blood is now squirting into the tube. Take as much as you need. Usually, you know, half a tube is plenty. Okay? When you're done, you just pull it off. Okay? Depending on what the test is, sometimes they want you to like flip it upside down. Follow the instructions, you know, whatever instructions your nurse gives you. Okay, so I'm done with this now. If you had, you know, if you want to collect 3 or 4 tubes of blood, you would just keep the same needle holder in and then just put the tubes in one after the other, take them out, and then disconnect this when you're all done, okay? So we're all done, so we are going to disconnect this, okay? unwrap my saline flush, grab some alcohol. We're now going to use alcohol. So this is my first sterile flush, sterile saline flush that I'm going to use after drawing the blood. And we're actually going to use 2 of them. Sorry, I had an air bubble at the top. Screw it into the line and push forward to flush. So we're going to do this twice, and the reason is just because having blood in the line can cause it to clog or to create a clot. Sometimes this can be reversed and sometimes it can't, but I mean, just to sort of keep the line open or patent, you want to try and flush out as much blood as possible. So that was the first flush. This is the second saline flush, and again, I do this all at once, as hard as I can, honestly, just because, you know, like I said, I'm trying to push stuff out of the way. I don't see any reason to be gentle. Another alcohol swab. Alright, so I'm going to pop this one same way. Alright, push it out, push the air out, hook it back up. Okay, and so as you can see right here, there's still some blood in the line even after 10 mLs of flush. Okay, so this is why we do it twice. Alright, just push it right out of the way. And after the second flush, it is gone. One thing you want to keep in mind is that it's not necessarily an emergency to look down and realize that you have blood in your PICC line, depending on the position that it's in. You know, I mean, it's definitely possible to like just look down and realize that you've got some blood in your line. So if that's the case, you generally just want to try and flush twice with whatever you use to flush, just like I did. If you get any resistance of any kind ever when you are flushing or locking in line with heparin or administering meds, stop immediately, clamp your line, cover, you know, put your cap on the end and call your IV team, okay? Do not want to risk that there's something wrong with the line and you exacerbate it, okay? But if you look down, you get a little blood in your line, you flush it twice, flushing no problem. Just lock it with heparin and put a cap on it and call it a day is what I do. Alright, so we are all done. So I'm going to lock my line with heparin. Heparin is a blood thinner and it prevents clotting action. Same thing. I'm going to pop it and just push out the air bubble at the top, lock it into the line. Alright, and this will just prevent clotting. Put the clamp back on the line, grab the cap, screw it on, wrap it up, and get on with your life. Have a good night.